Hessah. I'm delighted to be here with you today. This is called Amused Co. And what we're trying to do is create a community around conscious fashion here in Saudi Arabia. And I'm really honored to be sitting here with you today because this is new and I feel that you're just starting to get into this whole fashion scene professionally yourself. You've always been super stylish individual.
Thank you so much.
And I really would love to know more about your values and how you're bringing that into your styling. And, you know, we've had the opportunity to work together on the Sustainability Month fashion shoot that Amused did with Hessah to also celebrate the online summit that we held. And it was amazing to see you in that mode, you know, and you made everyone feel fantastic. And the way that you were able to bring the different vibes out of us. I love what you did for Miss Shadia. She looked so amazing.
She looked incredible, yes.
She really did. And you created those looks for us. And I want to know more about your style and your inspiration. And maybe we can start on where did it all start from?
I think I've always had a love for fashion since I was a little girl, since I can remember. Maybe my fashion sense wasn't great always, but I always had this interest in fashion since I was a little girl. And it started when I was really young. I can remember picking out my outfits. My outfits would always be different than my cousins and my sister. I always curated my looks. Even as a kid, I can remember my outfits were just different, and clothes were really important to me, and fashion in general, and expressing myself. So it started at a very young age, and then I think in high school is when I was really trying out different looks, and that's the time where you're more open to exploring different looks, and you want to look cute all the time. Yeah. So I think in high school, definitely. And then I want to say the next time I felt after being a kid and then in high school, I think just lately in my 40s and my late 30s, I felt like it was a way for me to express myself. So I think that, I don't know what happened. It was something that happened in my 40s where I was I want to express myself authentically in every way, whether it's the way I wear my hair or my clothes or just the way I carry myself. So, yeah.
I love that. And who was your inspo, or what was your inspo around fashion, around style, around expressing yourself? Was there someone that you looked up to, or was there something early on that kind of triggered that interest to look at your clothes and your style and the way you wear your hair as your way of expression?
I think I was a really shy and quiet kid, surprise to everyone, because everyone thinks I'm this extreme extrovert, but I was a really shy kid. I was really quiet, and that was just a way for me to express myself, through my clothes. And I see it with my son now. He's the same. He's an introvert. He's very quiet, but he's very he tries different looks. He's very what's the word I'm looking for? Courageous with his looks and with the way he styles himself. And when I asked him, I was it's really nice. And we had a conversation. He was yeah, Mom, because I'm really quiet. I'm really shy. I don't talk much, but that's just my way of expressing myself. And I think maybe I couldn't articulate it the way he did, but I think it was for the same reason.
Yeah, I love seeing your son in your content. Your content is so feel good. It's so interesting. It's very different to what other people have out there in terms of content. And I love that. And I love that you are being so authentic and true to yourself with all your expressions. And I think sometimes that's hard, to do. But why did you decide to take that approach? And
I think it all started with when I first started with my hair salon and just wearing my hair natural and feeling good and like embracing who I am and being true to myself. And I noticed that that was missing because when I started wearing my hair natural, a lot of women weren't wearing their hair natural. And a lot of women found that like inspiring in so many ways. And I was like, oh, like this is inspiring, just wearing my hair natural. How about, to be completely authentic? And I know it inspires a lot of women. I get a lot of DMs all the time, like, about the funny part is I find that when people tell me, oh my God, you're so courageous just for being authentically you. And I feel like that shouldn't be, that you shouldn't have to be courageous to be you. It should be just a natural thing to be authentically you. Even with my content, it's not always easy for me. Even when I post, I'm sure you've seen some of the videos or the reels that I post where I show like myself in every way possible. Like when I'm just like running around doing errands and my hair isn't great and I'm not wearing makeup and I'm not dressed my best, but I like to show both sides. And
that's reality.
That's reality.
What every day not every day we're looking like this. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Right?
And I think, like I always say, social media isn't a lie per se, but it's more you can't believe that that's our entire story or that's entirely who we are on social media because everybody just tries to bring their best self forward on social media. They don't show the ups and downs. The downs or other sides to them. Everybody's just trying to bring their best. So that's what I try to do differently. I try to be fully me on social media. And that's what I honestly aspire to be even now. Like whenever I have these conversations with friends, I'm like, the one thing that I really want to be is as close as possible to who I am with everyone. And I don't want to feel like I have to be different with every person. I just want to be me because that's liberating and that's like comforting and that's like freedom. Like it just feels good.
Absolutely. And I'm blessed to know you personally as well as a friend and get to call you a friend. And I know that is really who you are. You love your sons and you always prioritize them. So it's just natural that they show up in your content. And I think the more authentic you are in your content, the more people feel that there is an energy that is like transmutes to your content that you put out there. So definitely, I also see it, with our audience at Amused as well. And I think you're also someone that has purchased from us. And I think after I came to your salon when I first moved to Jeddah, and you also bought, a gorgeous couple of items from us now, I think. And I see that with the way the mind shift the mindset has shifted since I've moved here. People are a lot more open to embracing new ideas, Amused being one of them, maybe social media being another one. I see that customers are really happy now, much more than when we first started, to get on social media, to express themselves, to not be afraid to embrace new ideas and communicate that.
That's very true. And I think I would have to agree with that. People are really, I don't know if the right word is like, they're hungry for new ideas and they're interested. They're interested in exploring different things. I think, and it's a great time to introduce new things to society or to community in Saudi. I think it's a great time. People are really open to receiving new ideas and new things. And I have to say about Amused, Amused really opened my eye into like purchasing secondhand items. Like now it's my thing. Like I go online and I check out because it's like a treasure hunt. You go and you find something super cool. It's very satisfying when you shop online or shop second-hand items. It's like, for me, it's like a treasure hunt.
One thing I think we've noticed as well, we had a customer this week and she went for some really unique items. And I think people are just tired of looking like everyone else. And I think that's why I love you. You're fast becoming my favorite stylist, if not my favorite stylist right now. And it's that you have a different look. And I think people are like you said, hungry for that individual expression of really who they are, not so much following trends. And I think fashion is you're seeing that in fashion as well.
True. Yeah. Yeah, I definitely recommend everyone goes on Amused and finds some. Like I saw some items just recently, like that I'm loving on Amused, that are in my cart. But yeah.
Thank you thank you for the shout out.
Yeah, shout out to Amused.
What another reason I think we connected is that you really do appreciate sustainability and is really one of your core values, and even you diving into this new professional hobby of yours, and now like hopefully at some point a career for you in the future, possibly. Am I allowed to say that? Yeah.
You can.
Yeah. Diving into professionally, now you're looking into taking on fashion as more of a profession.
Yes.
And I love how you started. You went to Copenhagen Fashion Week, which is well known to celebrate sustainability.
True.
And that's so cool. So tell me about that. Tell me why you decided to go to Copenhagen Fashion Week first, not, London or Paris or any of the others.
I think, again, going back to being authentic and expressing yourself, I noticed that in Copenhagen Fashion Week, the way people dress, they truly express who they are. And they're very, like, you can see a girl anywhere and you'll be like, oh, she's Danish.
On me.
You can, like, it's not like, they don't look like everyone else. They're very true to who they are and their culture. And the way they style their outfits, just everyday people. Like, I'm like, how did you think of that? How did you layer all these outfits? It's a very cold country too, but they still wear like mini skirts, but then they'll wear pants under them. They still style their outfits like really cool, regardless of, what the season is.
Tell me about, again, you as a stylist. I feel like to be a stylist, you need to be extremely creative and resourceful as well. Tell me about how, when you're putting together a look, how does that unfold for you? What's that creative process? Where do you get inspo from? And how do you embed your values into the styles that you put together?
I think for me, the few styling jobs that I've done, first thing I do is, yes, you get a mood board of obviously what the looks, should look like, or what the mood of the whole shoot is. But I also like to know the person that I'm styling and get inspiration from their own style as well, so that they feel comfortable, because I know when you feel comfortable, then you're confident, and then everything just looks better and is better. So I do my research. I go, if they have a public account, I go into their public account. I read their stories about them online. I read about their stories. Like, I want to know who they are, because I want to bring that to, into the look. Like, I want that to be an expression of who they are.
I love that. So you're really using the people you're styling as inspo.
As inspo, yes. That's what I've done every time, is use the people as inspo. Because that's the way they'll be most comfortable, I guess. And that's why, like, so far, all the styling jobs that I've done, people were really happy with the looks. Like, right away, they're like, oh my gosh, this is so me. You understand me, you get me, because I've done the research and I made sure that it, matches who they are.
And I think, again, from the experience we shared together, I'm just going to go back to Miss Shadia. She looked phenomenal. Obviously,
Absolutely.
I have to say we all looked really good. Thank you for that. But Miss Shadia, that was a completely unique look. Usually maybe for someone, of her age, people would put her in a different look. She looks so modern and stylish and just so cool, and I think that energy came across in the photos as well.
100%. Yeah, because even her, she's an inspiration. She's very she's someone I aspire to be. Like, she's very comfortable with who she is. She's very at peace. You can tell, like, you can get that energy. So I knew right away that she would be open to trying something different or wearing something different, because she gives me that vibe. Like, she's exploring, she's happy, she's excited. So it was really easy. And I was actually not actually, but I was very excited to dress her. And when I took the outfits out, I just knew that she was going to love them because I felt like she was that sort of like she's an open-minded person, like that she would be open to trying new things and new looks. So yeah.
I love that. And tell me about how you bring in the sustainability element into the way you style yourself and the looks that you create.
Yeah, so sometimes like I get asked like, where did you get this shirt or this top? I upcycle sometimes some of my clothes. I don't get rid of them. Like I was wearing something yesterday. It was 2 shirts put in together, and I got asked about them like this shirt is so cute, but it's actually 2 shirts of mine that I didn't want to get rid of, and I just upcycled them.
So
I do that a lot with my clothes. That I, sometimes you just gonna get tired of them or they don't fit the same anymore because our body changes. So I end up upcycling.
So where do you get the inspo for yourself from? You get inspo for styling others from their stories, and how about yourself?
I think like just I don't know. Sometimes I'm just like I could be watching something, or I could see like an art piece, or I could be walking somewhere or traveling, and that's where I would get my inspiration from. Sometimes just being on social media. Sometimes conversations that I have with people. And really how I feel in that moment. Because like sometimes, I feel excited and I want to try like new colors. I want to express myself in a different way. So it's not one thing or one person, but yeah.
Yeah, I love that. And I think it's a lot about confidence, right? When you're wearing clothes, you can, just if you have the confidence, sometimes you put together things that don't necessarily, the colors don't need to go, the shapes don't need to always go. It's just about how you carry it, right? And I think confidence is a big one. And do you see that, you're stepping into the fashion sector at 40 and you're keeping that as a main pillar of your content when, I read an article this week and it was, we're all terrified of aging. And anyone that says differently is not like being 100% honest. We're all afraid of it somehow, right?
Especially women. Especially women.
And so how do you use that to empower you? Because that's what I really feel that you're doing.
Yeah, I think it's to empower me, but to also empower others. At first when I first mentioned my age, I just thought, 40, I look 40, I feel 40. It's fine.
Like 40.
Thank you. But like I didn't feel like I was doing anything differently until people started pointing it out. Like, you're 40 years old? No way. And like people were shocked. And so I started posting about that because I noticed I thought that only women my age would be like, oh, you're 40, but you don't look 40, but that's inspiring because, you're being yourself and you're dressing differently than other 40-year-olds. But the shock was when I got women who are in their 20s DMing me or commenting like, oh my God, I was so afraid of aging. And now I feel like I'm not afraid. I'm like, why are you thinking about aging at 20? Have fun. Like,
yeah.
But it's a thing for women that we think about heavily. Like, and it drives us crazy. Like a lot of women don't like to mention their age, or there's all of these reels and memes and jokes about women not wanting to mention their age because aging is so scary for us when aging should be a blessing, like that you're getting older, that you get to, live to get to be older.
100%. It is a blessing.
Yeah,
absolutely. I see that even with our community at Amused, the older clients, let's say, they have incredible collections. They're a lot more braver about and they're a lot more honest about how they want to spend their money now. They don't want to necessarily buy all the latest collections. They would rather, travel, be much more resourceful with the way that they're spending their money. They're so happy to sell their collections, and then we see the Gen Zs coming and buying those collections because obviously they've become vintage now.
Yeah.
And even with our customers at Amused, I see the older customers, they're a lot more honest about where they're at, how they want to spend their time, how they want to spend their money. I feel like it's a really interesting place to be. You feel much more powerful. I
And
feel
grounded.
yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I noticed even when I, you know, just for a lack of a better word, when I, became older, I feel like I'm more looking for like fulfillment and inner peace and happiness rather than just like getting my happiness from like material things or from, so I don't know if that answers, to the pattern that you see with your older customers, but I think, yeah, you're more true to who you are, you know what you want. So it's very easy to be honest and sometimes too honest. There's no such thing, but you
No.
can't be too honest as you get older because you're not like, you're more in touch with who you truly are.
Yeah.
And you're more connected with who you are, and you stop all the pleasing and the things that make you less happy or, so yeah, you search for like inner happiness, I guess.
100%. We had a really interesting situation with a client that she was an investment banker and she retired, and she had this incredible collection of all these Chanel pieces. And anyone else, you would think that they would just want to hold on to those pieces because they were so beautiful. She was so happy to sell them. And what she did with the money is she went and invested in some procedures for herself, some cosmetic procedures. She took a trip to Egypt, the Nile trip, I think, where you get to see the historical sites. And then she bought gold, so just shows you how people are choosing to spend their money differently, and they are making more sustainable choices for themselves. Both just come back from Riyadh Fashion Week, and I was really impressed with what I saw there and the energy. And what I love about how the fashion scene has cultivated here is it's really empowering Saudi designers first. Maybe in the future they will bring more regional designers to the show, but I love that they are focusing on bringing out Saudi fashion, and Saudi fashion does have really strong identity, as we see with some really awesome brands like Badia.
When I went to Saudi Fashion Week, I attended a few shows. I was very proud. That was number one. Like, oh my gosh, these designs are incredible. Like, these women and men doing incredible things. Like, it's just so good to see. And it makes you feel so proud as a Saudi to see all these designers, younger and other designers or older designers. Like, it was so good to see. And the designs. And I love how some of them like had that Saudi print, like Abadia, for instance. She had it in her entire collection. Like, you can see this is a Saudi design, but in a more modern, and it's nice to bring that to the world and introduce Saudi to the world in such a way. So it's really beautiful to see.
Yeah, I love to imagine like some very stylish queen in like London or the UK wearing like the designs with the date pips, and
Yes.
that's just so cool. I'd love to see that Middle Eastern fashion spreading around the world, and I think it's gonna happen very quickly.
I think so too.
They're really setting up the platform and the supply chain to like support that happening. So it's very exciting. And what do you think? How do you see the future of Saudi fashion?
I mean, we're already seeing like a lot of these designers already have their collections in like global stores. So I can see more of that, and Saudi being a hub for fashion for sure. But can we also talk about the locations that they've chosen for?
Oh wow,
for
unreal.
for these shows? I'm like, this
Unreal.
is like a postcard moment. Like, it's just so beautiful. The Abadia show, the entire show, and even the opening performance was just amazing.
Yes.
But also like the location, everything was like, like, it's like the storytelling was just amazing.
Yeah, the DNA was
Yeah.
just throughout everything and everyone's shows, and it was. I remember that first night when we got there and just going and arriving to this space, I was like, no way, there's not a fashion show happening here. It was incredible. I think everyone was just in awe, you know, of the natural sights, you know, that they had the opportunity to see. I remember there was some, I think they were from out of town, you know, and they were asking us, what is this place? And like, people just think it's sometimes a desert here. They don't realize how rich the landscape really is.
True, I agree 100%. Even like for me, when I went to a few shows and I was looking at the locations, I'm like, this is just so gorgeous. This is so beautiful. Like, it was just amazing. It was different than, you know, anywhere else, like where, you know, where they have their presentations or shows. It was it was really nice. I think it added to the story of like the collections and the shows.
Definitely. So what was the moment that made you decide, I'm going to take this more seriously and become a stylist?
So I've always, like, I wanted to study fashion design actually when I was younger, but I had kids, I moved to Saudi, so things took a different route, I guess. But I was the friend that you come and ask for advice when it comes to clothes, and
always do that with you. Yeah, I'm like, always messaging you.
Yeah, it's becoming more now. Like, I'm getting DMs from people that I just met on social media, and they're like, "Hey, can you help me with this look for whether it's a podcast that they're doing or an event they're attending or whatever it may be?" But the way it started, like I thought, oh, I didn't go to fashion school. I'm never gonna be a stylist. And then one day I was having dinner with a friend in Dubai who's a stylist, and she used to live in Saudi. And she was telling me like, oh, you have great fashion sense. And I was telling her how I really wanted to be a stylist. She's like, so why don't you do it? And I'm like, well, I didn't go to fashion school. She's like, I can give you some tips. I can teach you some things. I can help you. And we just had that conversation. And then I go away and I'm back home here in Saudi. And then 6 months later, she's like, there's this styling job in Jeddah and I want to recommend you. And I was like freaking out. I'm like, no, don't. I have no experience. I can't do it. And I said, you know what? I always like bet on myself. Like I always take chances. So I was like, you know what? Just do it. What's the worst that could happen? Like, and if I feel like I'm not able to pull these looks together, I can ask some help from either her or someone else. I'm like, just take the chance. You've always wanted to do this. Do it. And so she told me to like comfort me. She's like, take the job or I'm going to put your name forward. And if you get it and you have questions, I'll help you. And I was like, okay, cool. And so that was my first time contacting PR agencies, stores to let me borrow clothes. It was like a first time for everything. And I had like a week to do all of this. But it turned out to be so much fun. And it just felt like a true calling. Like I had so much fun. And then the next one, you called me and you're like, hey, I have this styling thing for you. And thank you for believing in me, first of all. And that was so much fun too, like styling all those people. And so I knew like it was something that, something that I really enjoy doing. Regardless of like the short notices of, you know, we need you to style someone in 2 days, I still feel super excited and overwhelmed in a good way by the opportunity.
You always need that one person to believe in you, I feel. You always need that like push. I get that from my husband always, you know, he's always been that person for me. And I love that we need that community around us. And, you know, I do it like you do it for me, I do it for you. And
True.
And we need that. We need to cultivate more of that within our relationships, you know, to believe in each other, push each other and you know, share those opportunities together. Because, you know, if I'm empowered, I can empower someone else, right?
True. 100%. And we need to learn to take chances and risks and like bet on ourselves.
Yes.
Like I remember when you told me the Amused story and how you started was also you taking a chance on yourself. Like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to try it out and see how it, and look at Amused now. Like, it's amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, definitely. You really need to be, I heard that line, like you have to be a bit delulu to become,
yes,
to just try something different.
Everything, yeah.
And push it as far as it can go, you know, and keep keep going.
Yeah.
It will only go as far as you keep pushing.
True. And if nothing else, it'll be an experience that you learn so much from.
For sure.
If it doesn't, grow the way you want it to be, you'll grow as a person. You'll learn from it.
Definitely.
So, yeah.
There's no bigger blessing than being able to learn. I
100%
posted this on my social media yesterday. It really is truly that. It's all about learning, right?
And thankfully, like, you learn until you leave this earth. Like, you're always learning. Like, every day you're always learning. You never stop learning. That's the blessing.
That's true. But I realized that, like, it's a choice to, like, want to learn as well, you
100%.
know? So I think that's also important to remember and reflect upon as you're going through that journey. Thank you so much for being here with us today. Honestly, I couldn't have hoped and, had a better guest. I really enjoyed this conversation, and I'm sure this is not the last time. I'm sure there's so many more opportunities for us to connect like this. And
I always enjoy my conversations with you. And, so this was really good. It was easy. It was just like, when we go out to dinner and when we always have great, deep conversations. So I always enjoy that with you. So thank you for inviting me, actually.
I'm glad to hear that.